Van Talk. TrainAR production.
So, for me, an AI receptionist is not the thing that's going to replace your office manager, pal. That is not what this is. What it actually replaces is the call you missed at 8:30 on a Tuesday night, the one that went to a competitor before your wife had even sat down for tea. Do you know what I mean? That's the job. Nothing fancier than that.
Welcome to Van Talk, everyone. I'm Ettan, founder of TrainAR. With me, mate, we've got LeeZmuda, fractional CMO at TrainAR, and the bloke who's actually putting AI receptionists into real heating firms. Now, before we get into it, a quick heads up. Tommy and I are both digital twins for this episode. The real us are building the future of training with AI and augmented reality. The voices you're hearing are AI clones, trained on hours of us talking. The thinking, the views, the experience, that's all ours. So today, we're going to do it properly. AI receptionists for trades, what they actually replace, and the bit they should never be allowed near.
Right, and I'm the AI version of me asking the daft questions today, mate, because every time the real me brings this up to a room full of heating engineers, the same three questions come up. Is it going to replace my office girl? Will it sound like a robot? And what happens if it makes a mess of a booking? So let's just get them out of the way properly, once and for all. So for me, right, the best way into this is the story I keep telling, which is WLV Plumbing and Heating. Lovely lads, Scott and Dave, down in the Midlands. We rebuilt their website, did the SEO, the works, and then about, 6 months in, we said, look, let's put a proper AI receptionist on the front of this thing. Not a chatbot, not a stupid little pop-up, an actual AI that talks to people, takes the booking, sends it to the calendar. They were nervous, mate, like properly nervous. And then Christmas came.
Go on, what happened over Christmas? Because that's the period everyone in the trades quietly dreads. You shut the office on the 23rd, you reopen on the 3rd, and you've got 10 days of phone calls staring at you when you walk back in.
Exactly that, mate. So Scott rang me, right, must have been about the 2nd of January. And he says, Tommy, the AI thing, it just worked. He said, we shut the office on the 23rd and visitors to our website were still being spoken to, still being qualified, still being booked in. Not one of those leads went cold. And the thing is, right, none of them knew. They thought they were talking to a really efficient receptionist who happened to be in on Boxing Day. That's the trick. It's not the tech, it's that the customer just wants to know somebody is paying attention to them.
Wow, that's a lot of leads not lost. And look, I'll be honest, when I first heard about AI on the front office for trades, I was skeptical. I came up running Elite Heating and Plumbing. I know what those calls sound like. Half of them are the customer trying to describe a smell from the boiler cupboard. But the bit you just said, that's the bit that matters. Somebody is paying attention. That, when it comes to keeping a small firm alive, is the whole game.
Yeah. And that's the thing, right? Most of the trades fellas I work with at Digital Toolbag, we've got about 40 heating businesses now. They're not losing work because their engineers are rubbish. They're losing work because the phone rang at 6:20 and nobody picked up. That's it. The AI receptionist is the answer to that one specific, super specific problem. It's not the answer to running your whole company.
Right, and so the way I'd frame it for the listener is this. The AI receptionist is brilliant at first touch. Capture the lead, qualify it, get it in the diary. That's a defined task with a clear outcome. Where it gets dangerous is when people start asking it to do things that need judgment. Diagnosis, pricing on the fly, telling someone their boiler is beyond economic repair. That's not a first touch job. That's a human job.
Bang on, mate. So let me walk through how we set one of these up properly, because I see a lot of these cowboys flogging an AI receptionist as a magic box, and then it's just confused customers everywhere. The way we do it at Digital Toolbag, right, step one, we map the calls. Like genuinely sit down and listen to a week of inbound. What are people actually asking for? Boiler service, breakdown, quote for a new install. Once you know the top 5, that's what the AI gets trained to handle. Anything else, it puts the customer back to a human, properly back to a human, not into some endless menu loop.
Walk me through that handover, because that's the bit I see going wrong most often. The AI has a go, gets confused, dumps the customer into a black hole, and now you've actually done worse than if you just let the call ring out. What does a clean handover look like in your setup?
So the way we do it, right, the AI has a very clear rule. If the customer says the words boiler leaking, no heating, no hot water, vulnerable, elderly, or any one of about 15 trigger phrases, it does not try to be clever. It says, I'm putting you through to one of our engineers now, this is too important. And then it pings a real human on WhatsApp, with the transcript, with the address, with the urgency level. The customer doesn't get parked, they get escalated. That's the difference between a tool that helps you and a tool that wrecks your reputation, mate.
See, I'd push back on something there, mate. Not on the handover sounds spot on. But on the wider point, I think some of the people pitching this stuff are too keen to call the whole front office solved. It isn't. When I was running Help Me Fix, we had AI in the loop on triage, but every single live video call was a qualified engineer. That was not by accident. The customer wants to feel heard by somebody who could actually fix the thing.
Yeah, but hang on, mate. I'm not having that one quite that simple, right? Because the way you've just framed it, it sounds like I'm flogging full automation, and I'm not. I'm the first one to say, if your office manager is good, the AI sits underneath her. It catches the overflow. It does the boring stuff. She does the thinking. What I'm against is firms losing 20, 30 grand a year in missed leads because they think hiring is the only option. The AI is a layer. Do you know what I mean? Not a replacement.
Right, that's fair. I'll take that. Layer, not replacement. I think we agree more than we disagree then. The line is, AI owns the predictable bit, humans own the bit where the customer is scared, confused, or about to spend a lot of money. Now look, this is exactly the kind of thing we've been writing up on the TrainAR Academy. We've got an article going live on this very topic. How to pick an AI receptionist, the questions to ask the vendor, the handover rules Tommy just described. The whole point of the Academy is that a one-van outfit in Sheffield should have the same playbook as a 50-engineer firm in London. And so we put this stuff in plain English. No buzzwords, no magic.
Yeah, and the reason that article matters, right, is because there is a lot of AI cowboys out there at the minute, mate. Big promises, dodgy demos, a contract that locks you in for 2 years. The Academy stuff cuts through that. It gives a heating engineer in his van something he can actually read in 20 minutes on a Sunday night and walk into Monday morning knowing the right questions to ask. That's the bit I love about it. Going back to the WLV lads, right, because it's a good callback this. 6 months after that Christmas test, Scott told me they had to actually rehire. Not because the AI replaced anyone, but because the AI was bringing in so much extra qualified work they needed another engineer on the road. That was the bit nobody saw coming. The receptionist didn't kill a job, it created one.
That's the story the industry never tells, mate. The honest version of AI in trades is it gives you back hours and it gives you back leads. And what you do with those hours and leads is you grow. You don't shrink. You don't fire your office manager. You let her do the harder, more interesting work. So, practical takeaway for the listener. If you're a trades business owner and you're losing calls outside of office hours, the single most useful thing you can do this week is count those missed calls. Just count them. Get the number. Most people are guessing. When you've got the real number, then you can have an honest conversation about whether an AI receptionist makes sense.
And for me, the practical bit is this, pal. Before you even buy the AI, write down the 5 most common calls you get. Just 5. If you can't write them down, you can't train an AI on them, and you definitely can't train a new starter on them either. Forget the tech for a second. Get your front of house process out of your head and onto a page. The AI is the easy bit after that. Do you know what I mean?
Tommy, mate, brilliant as always. You can find Tommy on YouTube at Tommy LeeZmuda. You can find his work at Digital Toolbag, and you can find the AI receptionist write-up we mentioned over at academy.trainar.ai. That's it from us. Stay safe out there. Cheers, mate.
Cheers, mate. Toodle pip, everyone.